In today's video, I'm going to take a look at the progress in gold and the dollar. Um, Gold did marginally break below this trend line here. So I'm going to say this probably qualifies as a daily cycle low. And this morning we've got a rally back above the 10-day moving average. So um, I think there's pretty good confirmation at this point that this was the uh, first daily cycle low. One could make the case that maybe this was a short first daily cycle low and this is a second. Um, I'm going to, I think I'm going to play this as if this is the first daily cycle. The cycles have just evolved to where they've become very stretched now, probably because the currency cycles have also stretched. So you can see this cycle from here to here was very stretched. So in my opinion, this is the daily cycle low. We've got to move above the 10-day moving average. So we've got the first confirmation anyway that this is a cycle bottom here. Now the big question is, how is this second daily cycle going to play out? Right now, this top came on week 12. If this second daily cycle can get above this top, then it will right translate this entire um, intermediate cycle, and that could possibly have connotations for the 3-year cycle in the commodity complex. It could just mean that gold has completed um, the move down that would correspond with the CRB's 3-year cycle low, and it completed it in August. And if that's the case, then the CRB may be completing a slightly early 3-year cycle low right now with that very scary waterfall decline in oil, but that may be done at least temporarily. The odds still favor that we're going to get a bounce and then another leg down in the spring. That would give us a more of an in the normal timing band for a 3-year cycle low in the commodity complex rather than an early one. But there is a slim, and I emphasize the word slim, possibility that August marked the bottom for gold, and a couple days ago, um, when oil looks like it found a bottom anyway, it could mark a slightly early 3-year cycle low in the commodity complex. So now let's switch over to um, the dollar. All right. So this decline here looked like at the time that the dollar was ready to move down into a daily cycle low, but it stopped before it could break this trend line. So um, I'm playing this as if this was not the daily cycle low, and we're trying again. We've got another drop below the 10-day moving average, but this needs to come down and break this trend line before I can um, have any confirmation that this is actually moving down into a cycle low. One thing that is of significance is this peak here. You can see we did not get any follow through on this attempt to break above the peak. Came back down but did not confirm the move into the cycle low. And then we get another rally that pushes through this resistance zone again. But as of this morning anyway, that's been completely negated. And I've noted this before. Um, Major turns, intermediate degree turns can occur like this, where you get a breakout that gets everyone bullish, and then the market turns and goes the other way quickly, and everybody that bought the breakout gets caught holding the bag, and right now that may be a possibility here, that this is a one of these false breakouts, and a possibility that the dollar um, may be putting in an intermediate top. And again, this is going to depend on that second daily cycle. So let's just assume that that we do continue down here on the dollar and we do break this trend line, and we come down here somewhere and we find our bottom, and then we get another bounce, a rally out of the daily cycle low. Um, as long as this rally doesn't come back above this top and then rolls over pretty quickly, and if it breaks below this, wherever this daily cycle low occurs in the days ahead, wherever this pivot forms at, if we bounce and then roll over and break below this pivot, that would confirm that we have an intermediate top, and this intermediate top would be left translated as it's occurring very early in this intermediate cycle. And then once uh, price comes down and breaks below this intermediate bottom, if it does, that would also confirm the bull bear market has begun, or a bear market did start in 2017. So this is a scenario I think is going to happen. I think we're going to, at some point here, we're trying again. Of course, we tried here too and didn't complete it. So I'm not 100% confident just yet that we're moving down into a daily cycle low, but it looks like we're trying again. And if we can break this trend line, that'll confirm it. And then the the major question is how this second daily cycle forms. If it forms like this as a left translated cycle, comes down, breaks this pivot, and then if price continues down and breaks this intermediate pivot, then we have confirmation that the dollar has or did begin a bear market, and that this rally out of the 3-year cycle low, which is why this rally has been so powerful. This was a major 3-year cycle low. If we break below this pivot right here, that'll be confirmation that this 3-year cycle has rolled over in a left translated fashion, and that'll be confirmation that the dollar did start a bear market. So I think this will have a lot of impact on whether gold and the CRB are ready to to give us a more sustained rally rather than just this long sideways basing phase that they've been in for the last 3 years. And if this scenario does play out, then I would say there's a good chance that that gold did put in its its longer term bottom back here in August. Another thing to consider also, if you'll notice, that this peak in the dollar corresponded with the bottom in gold, and then we get a higher high in the dollar, but gold did not make a lower low recently, so something's going on in the gold market. We just need to see if it's going to be allowed to break through that 1238 resistance that we just saw blatant suppression of the gold market during that first daily cycle. It was a big player that was continually sitting on gold, not allowing it to break through that 1238 and develop any buying pressure. So that'll be a big question. All right, so back to the gold market. So you can just see that this was just so blatant. It was ridiculous. Every time gold tried to get up and break through this pivot here, somebody came in by the end of the day and squashed it back down repeatedly, over and over and over and over. And so that's going to be the question for this daily cycle is that going to happen again? Is one of the big banks going to come in and keep gold suppressed and prevent it from getting above this resistance level? Or if it can move above this high at 1246, then it's going to right translate this entire intermediate cycle, and that would be a pretty strong indication that that August would be a major cyclical bottom in gold, and it would probably also indicate that the CRB is forming its 3-year cycle low here in November, and it's probably not going to bounce and roll over and make a lower low in February. That would just be too far away. Gold tends to bottom a little bit before the CRB, so if gold bottomed in August and the CRB bottoms in November, that would be typical, but if it would not be typical for gold to bottom in August and the CRB to bottom out here in February or March. So uh, a lot, I think, is going to depend on gold here. If we can come up and break this October 26th high at 1245, right translate this intermediate cycle, then I think it's going to confirm that gold did put in a major bottom in August and that the CRB is putting in a major bottom here in November.